everybody. Happy Tuesday. We have a great stream today. Lots of exciting stories. And I wanted to make today's, every other week we do a stream that's open to everybody. And that's today's stream. So nice to see so many of you. Thanks to everybody who joined in, members and non-members alike. At the end of today's stream, we're going to talk about the season finale for Only Murders in the Building, which will be a spoiler. It'll be a spoiler discussion. So please, nobody spoil that before we get to that segment. And then if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen Only Murders in the Building yet, you should leave, because we're gonna totally ruin it and have a great time talking about that finale, which is truly phenomenal. Although a lot of people ruined it online already. I was surprised about that, and we'll talk about that too. First off, let me just say, yes, Halloween ends. A lot of people asked me about it, and were like, "Are you going to talk about Halloween ends?" And I was going to talk about it tomorrow, but I'll just say right now, because it's trending, I thought I should address it at the top of the stream. Halloween Ends, I think, must be not good. People weren't too happy with the last movie, and I think to put it day and date on streaming when as a theaters-only release, that could do extraordinarily well, because the first film did so well. So I feel that it must be bad. They must have looked at it and been like, "Oh boy, this is fire starter bad." So let me ask you, who here is going to watch Halloween Ends? Are you going to watch it in the theater? Are you going to watch it on Peacock? Or are you just not going to watch it at all? I think I would definitely watch it on Peacock. Good guy Nick's just going to pirate it. That's a real problem when they do that. Although some of you really want to see it in the theater, which I think is great. I'm glad you're supporting it in that way. Denzel, nice use of emojis there. So it looks like it's pretty split. So I guess, you can't watch it for free on Peacock. You have to have Peacock Premium. So I guess it should drive a number of subscriptions to the service, hopefully. Peacock has, they sold $1 billion in ad sales, but it's also been like losing $1 billion. So yeah, if you have the Peacock free version like SM, you won't be able to watch this movie. You'd have to pay for the upgrade. Only Peacock Premium gets the movies. Hey, Lewis, if you join during a live stream and become a member, I will give you a shout out as soon as you join. However, if you have this is open to all stream, and as always, the final 10 minutes of the stream, and then followed by shout outs, but the final 10 minutes of the stream, you can ask me anything you would like. Until then, I ask you to please focus your comments and questions in the chat on the story that we're talking about. Welcome back, Lone Wolf Media. All right, so let's get started. All right, Lauren, we're starting right now. We're starting right now, Lauren. All right, that's right, Riley. It's open to everybody today. Story number 1. Boop. Okay, so the Batgirl directors are back in the news. And I had wondered when this happened. I did a stream and I talked about how this was a lot like the Snyder Cut. Hey, Zach, I thought it was very similar, the Snyder Cut situation to the Batgirl situation. And sure enough, I think that the directors are using this to get themselves and keep themselves in the news. And I'm not surprised, because while there's been a lot of support for them in the media, from fans, and from Hollywood, some big name talent, saying, stay strong, they still don't have any other gigs. They have no deals coming up. They have no projects. So it's not like anyone gave them an offer. So I think they want to make sure they stay in the news and show that there's support for them. So the reason they're in the news now is that the first headline trickled out and it said that the footage had been removed. It was erased. Where is it? Where is it? And then today, or late last night, the Hollywood Reporter clarified, or allowed them to clarify, and it was that they had their access to the servers blocked. I would imagine that a number of talent and people working on the movie had their access blocked. And I'll tell you what I think, and I saw some people commenting on this already on Twitter when the story broke, and that's that they don't want another Snyder Cut situation. Zach was able to get his hands on the footage. Hey, Riley. He was able... Is Platinum Diva not feeling well? Oh, Platinum Diva, such a joy every time you're in the stream. I hope you feel better soon. All right, so Zack Snyder got his hands on the footage and was able to, basically continue to do an assembly cut and get it to a point where he not only felt that he could pitch it as something to come back as, but it allowed him to, over the years, tease what the Snyder Cut did exist and to show people footage, previews and be like, look how cool this shot is. Wouldn't you like to see the rest of the movie? And I think that Warner Brothers Discovery decided that they're not going to allow that to happen. Because, and also don't forget that Ryan Reynolds famously leaked that Deadpool test footage because Fox was dragging their feet in greenlighting a movie. So, to this day, I don't believe he's actually point blank admitted it. I mean, he's pretty much admitted it. But he was like, he just was like, oh, I wonder who put that out there. Thank you, and I mean, and good for him. Good for Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he has a career entirely because of that decision that he took his fate into his own hands. So this is interesting to me. I think this is a clear warning sign to anyone working at least on a Warner Brothers Discovery film that they should, Sufjan says, don't the directors have authorship rights of some sort? No, they do not. The footage is owned by the studio. And that was even an argument with Zack Snyder. With them saying, that's our footage. But, Warner Brothers wasn't willing to press the point. So anyway, I think that they don't want these guys to go and say there's something going on and tease the shots. And for people to, they want Batgirl to just go away. And it will never go away if there can be shots leaked again and again. So I think that anyone working at least at Warner Brothers Discovery, or maybe any project at this point, might want to back up their files or take at least some screenshots with their phone to make sure that they have some of the footage. Now, of course, if they were to release that, especially if they had acquired it, under not the most legal of circumstances, they would open themselves up for a potential lawsuit from Warner Brothers. Although, again, Warner Brothers is very reluctant to go down that path. I think to some degree, it's like you cancel their movie and then you take them to court. I mean, come on. But then again, how is Warner Brothers going to stop this from continuing to happen? I mean, Warner Brothers is fighting a huge PR war. I mean, of course, it's partially of their own making, but, they're like, why are we giving ammo to the other side? So I think that that's kind of the situation. But I think that the question becomes, when does the director, have a difficult situation and feel like it's worth the risk to get, to try and keep themselves in the news. Zack Snyder re-energized his career this way. And I think if Warner Brothers Discovery should hire Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Fallah themselves. That's what I would do if I were them. I'd be like, man, let's just give them another movie. Because then there'd be not only would they have work, but they would be better, they'd be more friends with the studio. They'd be like, hey, you're not going to hurt us. We're your current employers. But the fact that these guys have no gigs right now, and they're very internet savvy, very fan savvy. They were fans. They watch my videos. They said that when I did the Ms. Marvel interview, a couple other YouTubers, they knew us all. And I think they know the game. So the longer they stay unemployed, the more dangerous they become to Warner Brothers Discovery. So, I'm sure these headlines, even today, Warner Brothers Discovery isn't too happy about. Hey, Joseph. So we'll see what happens, but it's really tough. And I would certainly, just so you always have that card, I personally, if I were a director or anybody working on these projects, at least if my name was really big attached to it, I'd take a couple screenshots just to make sure that I had that footage. They particularly, it seems, wanted to leak a picture of Michael Keaton as Batman, who I heard looked pretty amazing. So, I think that's why they're a little bit upset. Whelmed says, so Nolan saw the writing on the wall and jumped ship before all of this. Will Warner Brothers Discovery have trouble finding talent like him in the future? That's interesting. You should say that, Nolan, because that's going to lead us to our second story of the day. However, Nolan jumped ship because of AT&T. He had no idea that Warner Brothers Discovery was coming and that it would be even worse than AT&T. Oh my God. I do wonder. I've seen some people speculating that Discovery will sell Warner Brothers in a few years. And I could see that happening, quite frankly. It's very much being run more like a business than entertainment. And that was a criticism levied at AT&T as well, by the way. And so I could see, I was watching, I saw Barbarian yesterday, and the Fox logo came up before it, which is now 20th Century Studios. And I was like, that used to be its own studio, back in the day, that was its own studio with its own lot and its own storied history, and now it's just a division of Disney. And I was like, man, I wonder if someday we'll be like, remember when Warner Brothers was its own studio and it was the Warner Brothers and it was super famous? Do you remember that? Do you remember what that was like? And I feel like Warner Brothers at some point is just going to become like Fox to someone else. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's pretty crazy. All right. So let's get to the second story of the day. Boop. Look at Matt Reeves. He's like, haha, Matt Reeves. You know, I think it was wonderful that the TV line leaked the news last night, broke the news that his Batman animated series was canceled because Warner Brothers Discovery was like, damage control. J.J. Abrams was also a part of that animated series, and we'll talk about that in a moment when we talk about Matt Reeves' deal. But that's the second project from J.J. Abrams to be canceled over at Warner Brothers Discovery, who was upset that he wasn't producing any content. And they're canceling the stuff that he was moving forward with. So I would be very concerned if I were J.J. Abrams that his deal would potentially not be renewed at the studio. He has not put out anything. They gave him $500 million, and he did nothing with it. He just sat on it. I mean, it's crazy. All right, so anyway, I think this is damage control, this story this morning, and I also think it's damage control that they just announced that Curb Your Enthusiasm has been renewed for season 12. I think they're like, we still have stuff on here, you know, but that's all HBO content. But, you know, I think it is good damage control. And, of course, House of the Dragon is a huge hit. I was reading an interview with Matt Smith, and Matt Smith was like, we can't hope to ever be another Game of Thrones. And I'm like, oh, but you are. But good for him. You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that. All right, so this morning, Matt Reeves closed a multi-year deal for movies and television with Warner Brothers Discovery. I think that the Penguin show will almost definitely get made, but I'm not so sure about the Arkham Asylum show that you just asked about, Stannis. I think that seems very expensive to me. I don't know for sure if they're going to make that. But, you know, they're in the Matt Reeves business. They're like, Matt, this is your home. And I think this is beneficial to them because he's a very similar type of director to Christopher Nolan. So they lost Christopher Nolan to Universal. And so I think this allows them to still keep that vibe. You know, it's the new Batman director, just like Christopher Nolan was. And so I think they feel good about that. So they're like, huzzah. So I think that that's one of the reasons the deal closed. And it's for, they said to continue to expand his Batman universe. They gave no specifics. And they also said beyond, to make other movies. He's going to hire an executive. You know, Matt Reeves is a creative. He needs to hire an in-house producer who's going to help him run his shingle. And they're going to get more and more projects. So that's very exciting. You know, we'll see how many movies he can pump out. But that's great for them. I'm sure they're very, very happy about that. He's produced, I think, some pretty good stuff, actually. And I liked elements of he certainly reinvigorated the Apes franchise, which, by the way, is coming back over at Disney Fox, obviously without Matt Reeves. But here's what's interesting to me. They still have no concrete announcement about the Batman 2. They weren't like, we're definitely making the Batman 2. And we're so excited to make the Batman 2. Instead, it was written and folded into the article that that they're starting the script soon. It's going to be the same screenwriters, and they're going to start working on it. And I believe that that's because Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who just took over the Warner Brothers film division, I think they're holding out confirmation to make sure that Matt Reeves and his team understand that they need to approve this script. And they are willing to wait as long as it takes for it to be in a place that they're happy with. So, I mean, we'll see how long it takes for this movie to move forward. Matt Reeves, I think, he's very much an artist, clearly, from the Batman, but I think that he's a very savvy businessman as well. And I think he'll probably try and push forward as much as he can, but I don't think DeLuca and Abdi are going to greenlight this until they feel it's at a place where they're happy with it. And they're willing to, you know, just like David Zaslav said at the earnings call, they will take as long as they want to make sure these things are, in their opinion, good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how long it takes. We'll see how it shapes up. Matt Reeves had said he wanted to focus on Mr. Freeze. He's also teased Joker, but I feel like Joker didn't get a great reaction. Do you guys like Barry Keoghan's Joker? Did you like that version of the Joker? I felt that it was divided enough that I don't know if I'd continue with it. Oh, I'd say it looks like it's like 2/3 no, maybe. Ryan, you gotta watch it. It's so good. Also, I feel like, why would you have two Jokers, even though they've been planning to do multiple Harley Quinns? Maybe that's another reason they won't do the Arkham Asylum show. But I feel like, if are we focusing on Joaquin Phoenix? It's like, there are so many Batman villains. Go pick another one. I think Riddler turned out fantastic. I mean, I've never seen Riddler be so interesting. Although, side note, if you're looking for a really good Riddler story, read Tom King's recent One Bad Day one-shot, which I thought was just incredible and really changed a lot about the Riddler in the comics. I was very, very impressed with that. So I think they're definitely going to make the Batman 2, but I think it's not going to happen maybe as soon as we would like. I think they're, I also think that clearly it's a sign that Matt Reeves doesn't have carte blanche to do whatever he wants. I mean, look how long it's taken to get Joker 2. That's a long time. But that's fine. I would rather it take longer and be better than rushed and not be as good. But, I don't know if Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi are like the kind of, I don't know what their tastes are like yet as executives. I don't know necessarily if I trust them to make the right call. And not that I don't, but I just don't know what this Warner Brothers film division looks like yet. So it's very exciting for Matt Reeves, though. He's the first Warner Brothers Discovery behind-the-camera talent deal that has been signed. And I'm sure it's a very lucrative deal, and it's a very nice feather in his hat, and it makes him instantly one of the top directors in town. And that's really great for him, and I think deserved. I really loved the Batman. I think he leveled up his own, what he delivers himself right there. And I think he deserves to have that kind of standing. On the same level as Nolan, that's pretty incredible. And I do think it's pretty funny that Warner Brothers found a new Nolan very quickly. They were like, ha, whatever. We don't need you, Christopher. Go have fun at Universal. Enjoy Barbie opening opposite your movie. Very funny. All right, so we're going to go to the third story of the day. Boom, baby. And this is a spoiler discussion about Only Murders in the Building. All right, so first I'll say some general statements, and then I'm going to start spoiling it, and you've been warned, okay? So I felt that overall, season 2 of Only Murders in the Building was a bit slow, and I thought that sometimes it seemed repetitive to the first season. Hey, Juan. And I felt, thank goodness for the core 3 actors, Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez, who held my interest while I was watching it. And it seemed to go on for a little bit longer this time. Like, it's the same number of episodes, but it seemed to take longer. I was like, oh, man. And also, they really, with those, okay, now we're going to move into spoiler territory, okay? Okay? But, with those hidden caverns in the building and walking in between apartments, I was like, where's this coming from? This is crazy. This is nuts. I think they really went as far as they possibly could. But then I thought the finale, which I actually watched 2 to 3 weeks ago, was incredible. All right, so I'm going to do it. Paul Rudd was the surprise. Paul Rudd showed up. They had the killer. They found the killer, which I thought was very clever. I really liked that. I thought it was very interesting. And then Martin Short's character finally got another directing gig on Broadway. And so when we fast forward to opening night, and he's trying to coax a very difficult leading man out of his dressing room. And when the door opened and Paul Rudd came out, my jaw dropped. It was such a great surprise. I feel awful that this has been ruined for so many people by news sites on Twitter. I thought that was really, really a horrible thing to do, not even to give the episode 12 hours. And I think it shows in the world of streaming where content drops in the middle of the night, in the morning, at 12 a.m. or 3 a.m., I just think that's really uncool. But it does put the trades in a difficult position. As soon as one trade runs the story, because they're also reliant on clicks and they're also competitive, all the other trades and news sites go, well, they did it, so we better get in here too. I did think it was funny that it was Variety once again, but I think it's really not cool, and I wish that they wouldn't do that. But, so Paul Rudd is the star of this new Broadway show. It's opening night. Steve Martin's his co-star, and they have a big fight. They're not getting along. They really hate each other. And as the curtain goes up, Paul Rudd's character dies right there on stage. And so that means for season 3, he will be a major character. He'll be like Bunny. He won't be in the show too much, but enough that whenever they have flashbacks and they're investigating the murder, Paul Rudd will be there. It will be a substantial supporting role. And I think that is incredible. I think it's such a shot in the arm. I think there's 2 huge changes for season 3, which are brilliant. Getting a movie star like Paul Rudd is really incredible. I also feel moving the action to a theater is just, it's still so New York, but it gets them out of the building a little bit. I mean, of course, so many of them still live in the building. Maybe they'll get Paul Rudd an apartment there while he's doing the musical, the play, and that's why he's there. So that could be really clever. But it gives them more place to play. And I also think Martin Short's character was running out of room. I mean, they did have the very clever idea that he had that thing about his son, and I thought that was incredible, that it was actually, Nathan Lane's child, that, his wife, Martin Short's wife, had cheated on him. But I think that Martin Short's character really needed this. And I also I thought the Brazos storyline was really kind of like not very nice to Steve Martin's character, which I understood the commentary they were trying to make there. Oh, you're right, Danielle, maybe Paul Rudd will be in the penthouse. Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. That's right. I think you guys, in Nay Arts, you said that too. But yeah, I just think it's absolutely brilliant. So they're going to I just think it elevates all the characters. I wonder how Selena Gomez will still factor in. We'll see. Maybe she's dating Paul Rudd, and that's why Steve Martin's character is so protective and so upset. But I'm very, very interested to see how this works out. But yes, they had an interview, and they talked about how Paul Rudd got cast. And Paul Rudd, I mean, here's the thing. Paul Rudd is, basically a movie star. I mean, kind of. I mean, his MCU movies are the least successful, but he was a great addition to Endgame. But I think that the issue is that, Only Murders in the Building is such a hugely successful show. I think that it's worthy of Paul Rudd's time. And he just recently did that Apple TV show with Will Ferrell. I mean, Paul Rudd still does a lot of TV. But they said that Paul Rudd was not only a fan of the show and is very close friends with Martin Short, apparently, and has worked with Selena Gomez before and really likes her, but Paul Rudd said he just absolutely adores Steve Martin. And to get to act opposite Steve Martin, and also it continues to give the show a very Saturday Night Live feel. Tina Fey, of course, is a recurring character. And Steve Martin and, Martin Short and Steve Martin got their start on SNL, and Martin Short and Paul Rudd are members of the Five Timers Club. So I thought it was great. How many of you were surprised when Paul Rudd came out of that dressing room? Or did you have it spoiled for you? Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, Callaghan, I'm so glad you were surprised. Yep, right? Steven says so surprised. Ivan, I'm sorry it got ruined for you. Shirley MacLaine, you're right, Jeruz. Shirley MacLaine was phenomenal this season. I was so happy for her. She's, I think in her 90s, and she still hasn't missed a beat. I'm sorry, some of you got it spoiled, but most of you got to be surprised, which is great. Oh, it was such a great surprise. I've been telling everybody I know, stay off of Twitter today because I don't want it to be ruined. Thanks, Laugh Zone. Martin Anderson spoiled 5 minutes before. Oh, you were so close. Oh, that's great. So did you guys have any questions you wanted to ask me about Only Murders in the Building Season 2 before we move on to the general questions? Oh, happy birthday, Adam. CM says, do you think season 2 will win the Emmy? Maybe for the actors, maybe for Martin Short or Steve Martin. I think maybe season 3 sounds like it's going to be the strongest yet. Welcome, Ariel. Danielle, I did not guess the killer. That was a great surprise. I mean, they kind of telegraphed it at a certain point, but I had no idea where it was heading until the very end. I thought it was great. Owlwatch says, does your building also have secret doorways? Can you start solving mysteries with your neighbors? That's hilarious. I would not live in a building that had secret passages. I once went into the famous Dakota building. I had a friend in school who lived there. That's where John Lennon lived and unfortunately was assassinated. Very famous building. And also Rosemary's Baby is supposed to take place there. Very scary building. Chico, I thought Cara Delevingne did a very nice job. I thought she was a good misdirect. I thought she did a nice job. Ivan says, favorite character of the season. I have to say Martin Short, I think, does a lot of heavy lifting on that show. I think he's got the best zingers. I think he's really funny. I think they're all excellent, but I think that the show would not be the same without him. Oh, Steve and Selena always holds her own. And it's really impressive that she can hold her own opposite two veterans like Martin Short and Steve Martin. They did a great job casting her to balance out the appeal of the show. Chico, I thought Poppy's backstory was brilliant. And I thought they did a great job with that. And it made the season finale so interesting. Nathan says, how many seasons do you think they can go for? Well, they're kind of turning it into Clue a little bit, right? I think they could at least go to 5 seasons. If they have to keep upping themselves in terms of who the celebrity guest is. So now that they've gotten Paul Rudd, I think it sets a pretty good precedent to maybe even get someone a little bit better for after that. And maybe they have additional great guest stars next season. We don't even know. But I think that it allows, they can kind of turn themselves into almost another Knives Out. And I think that, when you have Steve Martin and Martin Short, you can pretty much do anything you want because they're iconic in the comedy world. But it's so exciting. Berkey, I just think, Amy Schumer, I think, was just a surprise. I would love it if they got Larry David. It's a very New York show, so they have to get, New York talent, and so I think they can get really great people. Dave Bricks, Paul Rudd is not playing himself. He's playing an actor. Callaghan, I don't think they've even started shooting season 3, right? So hopefully, they can shoot it pretty quickly, so maybe next year. Pete Davidson would actually be pretty funny, Juan. I think Pete Davidson's a good choice. That's right, Brent. If they can shoot 5 seasons of this, that's enough seasons for syndication. I don't really know how much syndication really matters anymore, but it would be great. I think that it would certainly give them, a little bit of backup. Why not go for the 5 seasons? That's why every sitcom, when they hit their 5th season, they would always throw a party because it meant extra money for everybody involved. Justin, I think Jane Lynch is hilarious as Steve Martin's understudy. When Jane Lynch broke up with his girlfriend at jail, and she was like, "Is this doing anything for you?" And the ex-girlfriend was like, "Yes, it is." And Jane Lynch was like, "Then I shall continue." It was fantastic. She was hilarious. Some of the best stuff I've seen Jane Lynch do in years. Hey, Paul. All right, let's move over, I think. Matt says, can people even survive off of syndication money? You really can. You would be amazed how much money. I mean, the SAG union does a great job. And all the unions, Hollywood is unionized. And those unions are important. I'll tell you that I still get checks for Zombieland 2. And I had 2-3 lines. And I still get checks for that. So, if you have a sitcom and it runs in syndication, that's why that's why Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David are so wealthy from Seinfeld syndication. Adam says, hey Grace, if you heard anything about Elizabeth Olsen's HBO Max show Love and Death, it looks amazing in the coming soon video the other day. I saw some people tweeting about it and I discovered that it's the exact same thing as Jessica Biel's Candy miniseries. It's the exact same story. I didn't watch Candy, although my parents did and they liked it. But I'm going to watch this because it's got Elizabeth Olsen and Jesse Plemons, so I will watch it no matter what. All right, so let's get on to the next. Those are the 3 stories of the day. Let's get to the Ask Me Anything portion of the stream. It's 3:02, and you can ask me anything you'd like until 3:12. Enter for None. I did film with Bill Murray. He was a delight. He was just an absolute delight. We did a lot of improv. Not all of, they pared it down for the release, but that took 1 day to rehearse and then a whole day to film. It was wonderful. I was so happy I was invited to do that. And we had a great time. That's very nice of you, Blix, to gift a membership. Devin says, Grace, do you think there will be a hungry superhero audience by the time DC starts building towards an MCU-level universe? Devin, who knows how long that's going to take? I think that their refusal to just start from scratch, basically, or start from the Batman, means that this is just never going to go away. And I think that, also I was reading Fables last night, the new Fables comic. I love Fables. And they had an ad, and they were like, the new DC multiverse is being born. And I'm like, how many times are you guys going to reboot DC? Even the comics. They're like, oh, here's the new DC multiverse. Oh, here's the new DC Justice League. I'm like, I don't care anymore, Although I do buy mostly DC comics still. Callaghan, I don't know if I'm going to do a D23 preview because it's pretty simple. I mean, if I do, it'll be next week. It'll be the week of D23. But I'm certainly going to be covering D23. That weekend is booked and busy. Ivan says, is it true that Matt Shankman is for Fantastic Four? Here's the thing. I can't directly spoil things. I mean, thank you, Brendan. I mean, it's just, I don't think that's a good idea. So I've been pretty clear about what I've said. I mean, you got to like read between the lines. Matt says, how do you feel about Jeff Johns writing more JSA comics, and will you read them? I'm going to read it for sure. You know, I think Jeff Johns still writes some good. I'm reading Flashpoint, his new Flashpoint. You know, I'm not that interested in JSA, to be honest with you. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. The fact that Jeff Johns is still at DC when I know multiple people have said he's like a psychopath, you know, it just goes to show you how tough being an adult is. Miss Mary says, I feel like David Zaslav is penalizing black talent at Warner Brothers. I think it's a real bad look that it seems to be directed a lot at stories of characters of color and LGBT. And I think that's what's most interesting to me is the lack of thought that goes into how it's going to come across to the general public. I mean, I don't understand why they're not like, we can't do this. We're going to look awful. I mean, and I guess that's part of what makes it so shocking. That there doesn't seem to be any, they don't care. Ross Gerwig says, any of the Crown season 5 news? I love that show. I haven't heard anything about it. It does seem like it's taking a very long time, but I also love The Crown. Jay King says, thoughts on the ratings for House of the Dragon, HBO's biggest premiere ever, and bigger than any other show this year, including Stranger Things. I thought it was incredible. As I said at the top of this stream, Matt Smith was like, oh, we couldn't possibly be another Game of Thrones. And you're like, you are. I think that it's great. I think we're only going to go up from here. And I'm a little nervous because I'm preparing my episode 2 video, and episode 2 is a lot slower. So, but episode 3 has tons of action. It's great. But I think that I'm a little nervous. I'm very curious. I'm nervous and curious this week to see how fans react to She-Hulk, because She-Hulk's not going to have Hulk in it this week, and it's going to settle into what the show's actually like. And then also on Sunday, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon is a little slower. So, you know, I think that a little more care should have been gone into the viewer experience. But, I mean, it's still very interesting. Babar says, thoughts on the Ironheart new costume leak? I hope it looks like that. I thought it looked really cool. If it looks like that, that's going to be great. Dancing Dog 60 says, can Black Adam make the JSA a thing? I don't know. I got to tell you, I think that it just seems like another Dwayne Johnson movie. So I think it's going to perform like Hobbs and Shaw, and they never made another Hobbs and Shaw movie. So, I mean, we'll see. Ivan says, what about a Rings of Power review? I'm waiting on those screeners, baby. I just spoke to them again today, and they said, we'll let you know when we put them out. I think it's, you know, House of the Dragon, really close to release. I think Lord of the Rings of Power is going to be the same way. I think it's funny. I did watch their trailer this morning. Amazon trailers are a little difficult. I didn't react to it. But I watched it, and I agree with almost everyone's comment that it's like, what is this show about? What's the premise? What's the setup? Who are we fighting? And they're like, we're not telling you. And you're like, that's so weird that you would not give us any information about the story. They're like, we spent a lot of money on it. And you like Lord of the Rings, don't you? And you're like, I don't know. I'm already into House of the Dragon. I'm sure Amazon saw those headlines about how many people watched House of the Dragon and were like, God damn it. Ethan, I'm definitely excited for the Emmys. I will live tweet them, and I'll do a live stream review the next day. Emmys. When are the Emmys? Let me see. I have it written down on my schedule. The Emmys are 9/12. Is that the weekend of D23? Oh my God. Let me look. Holy crap. It is. Oh, they're on a Monday? Oh, that makes my life a little easier. But still. And also, the D23 is when House of the Dragon airs. Oh my God. That's why I'm taking it a little easy these last few weeks of August, because September is going to be nuts, but like in a good way. Let me see here. Steven, I haven't heard anything about Bullseye, I'm afraid. Let's see. What was that question? David says, any other B-list Marvel character we'd love to see as part of the MCU? I don't know. They're really already scraping the bottom of the barrel, don't you think? That's very sweet of you, Nathan. Right? Mateo, I have not watched The Bear. Not yet. I'm working my way through The Undeclared War right now, which I think is very good. And then I'm going to watch some older movies. Like I might watch Gypsy again this week. I'm paying for these services, so I went through I went through HBO Max and Disney Plus, and I put on my list all the movies that I have not seen or haven't seen in a while, just because I'm like, might as well, I want to watch movies. Gypsy, the one with Natalie Wood and Rosalind Russell and Carl Malden. I was like, 2.5 hours? Oh boy. Georgina, I don't know when we're going to get, forget a Hocus Pocus 2 trailer. Where the heck's this Pinocchio trailer? I thought it might drop this morning. I kind of thought it was going to drop this week and help me out with my workload. I was like, woo, I'll do a video and I'll do a breakdown, but maybe it'll drop tomorrow. I mean, this thing comes out like in 2 weeks and we have not had a full trailer. I don't know what's going on. I mean, how bad can it be? It's Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks. Devin Henderson, I think that you can certainly have, Daredevil, maybe Jessica Jones. I think, let's see. I still don't know why they made Echo, to be honest with you. I think Echo should have been a character in Daredevil, as I said before. Mika, hey Mika, why does the DCEU get more hate than Sony's Spider-Verse? DC actually makes good movies. Do they now? I think it's because I think DC gets more hate because it's so obvious what they should do. And to see such iconic properties doing so poorly, it's just shocking. You're like, what's happening here? Barbie, I do think we'll get a Little Mermaid trailer or at least a first look at D23. I think Little Mermaid will be on the board starting at D23. I mean, what else is Disney Live Action going to promote, for Pete's sake? Let's see here. It Will Be Okay. That's a great name. Do you think Kevin Feige will sneak in Mystique with the Skrulls? Originally, she was a Ms. Marvel villain. Well, I don't think they should make Mystique a Skrull. I mean, that wouldn't be cool. Ivan says, what cameo would you like to see on the She-Hulk finale? Let's see. I'm excited about the cameos that are coming up. Episode 4, of the 4 episodes I've seen, episode 4 was my favorite. I thought it was the most She-Hulky. And also, I just loved Madison as a character so much. I can't wait for us to discuss her. Square One, the embargo for Barbarian lifts September 7th. Some people have said Barbarian is like the new Malignant. I don't agree with that. I think that Barbarian is the new Don't Breathe. Remember that movie, Don't Breathe, with the turkey baster? That's what I think this is. That's the similarity I would make. If you liked Don't Breathe, you'll like Barbarian. If you thought Don't Breathe was a little bit too much for you, then you will feel the same way about Barbarian. Calican says, when do you think Snow White will come out? They finished filming a while ago. Maybe they'll also preview that at D23. Hopefully they'll date it pretty soon. We should at least get some dates. A date for that. Dana O'Leary says, Grace, what's the likelihood of Amanda Seyfried signing on for Sue Storm? I don't know who they're casting. I think they're probably casting very soon, if not already, but I think Amanda Seyfried is a perfect choice. I would be so happy if she got it. She really deserves it. She really showed her acting chops in The Dropout. And I think she's a perfect Sue Storm. I would love it so much. I'd be so happy for her. Because she's had to spend so much of her career as like the dumb one, when she's clearly not dumb. And so it would just be such justice. Let's see, where did that go? R8 says, Grace, which show do you think will do better? House of the Dragons, She-Hulk, or Lord of the Rings? I think House of the Dragons. I think Game of Thrones is a really popular brand. And I think it delivers the most movie-like action. I think Lord of the Rings is going to be a big misfire. That's just my guess. But we'll see. I haven't watched it yet. Let me see the screeners. Leroy says, Grace, how do you feel about review bombing on IMDb for She-Hulk? You know, I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone goes on to IMDb and says, I was going to watch She-Hulk, but what's with all these one-star reviews? Forget it. I mean, I think people know it's review bombing. I think it's obviously review bombing. And I think, you know, either you're delighted to see it because you're a troll, or you're very upset with the show, or then you're like, that's just review bombing and trolls, and I don't care. So I think that, you know what I wish? I mean, I know it's frustrating for the talent in the studios, but I just think people should stop paying attention to it, because that's exactly what they want. You know, the trolls and the review bombers want you to be like, oh, I'm so upset about it. You should just be like, who cares, man? You know who should really be upset about it? IMDb, because it renders their rating system worthless. Sufjan says, would you watch Thor Love and Thunder on Disney+? That's a great question. Normally I would, but I'm not going to watch it on Disney Plus Day because I've already got a ton of other stuff to do then. So I think it's kind of silly to drop it that day. I know that they want to have a ton of footage for you, a ton of stuff for you to watch on Disney Plus Day, because they're like, oh, it's Disney Plus Day. It's a snowstorm of content. But I'm like, I'm going to be focused on Pinocchio and a new episode of She-Hulk. Why on earth am I going to sit here and cover Thor Love and Thunder? I mean, from a non-coverage perspective, maybe it'll do well. I mean, are you guys going to watch Thor Love and Thunder on Disney Plus when it drops? What are you going to watch first, Pinocchio or Thor Love and Thunder? Your enthusiasm, Danielle, I love it. Tom, you're not watching either of them. Oh, a lot of love for Thor. Pinocchio looks great to me. Looks bad to you, Luca? She-Hulk first. I like that zombie. Who is that? Zombie boy man. I like your priorities. All right, any other questions? Oh, it's 3:15. I love talking to you guys so much. I always run over. I might be a few minutes late, but I certainly spend as much time with you as needed. All right, so I am not going to watch more fun stuff. Who asked that? Babar. I'm not going to watch Spider-Man No Way Home More Fun Stuff. There isn't a critic screening. I'm taking Labor Day weekend off mostly because the weekend after with D23 and stuff is going to be just so crazy, and I'm not going to have a weekend. And also, it's just 11 minutes, and then they showed some stuff in the trailer today, and it wasn't even Toby and Andrew 11 minutes. So it's like, what? I mean, I'll certainly cover on Movie Math how it does. I mean, we'll see. I looked at the ticket sales today, and I didn't think they were that significant. Who here is seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, the More Fun Stuff cut in theaters? Yeah, I don't see anybody really. It's just 11 minutes. All right, time for shout-outs. All right, so we end every stream with me giving shout-outs. So just write something in the comments about what you're up to, if you're eating anything, what you've been doing lately, where you are. Just give me something to interact with you on so I can call out your name. I like the dabbing, Richura. That's adorable. Vincent says, I'm having a salad for lunch. Good for you. Lucas says, drinking Coke with ice while listening to the live stream in Lithuania. Oh, that's awesome. I love that ice emoji. I've never seen that before. Hey, Asaf in Tel Aviv. It's so nice to hear from you. Jonathan says, packing up my room in Virginia, getting ready to move out on my own for the very first time. Oh, congratulations. It's so exciting to have your own space. I guarantee you won't like the way you first decorate it. I remember when I looked back how I first decorated my very first apartment, and I was like, why did I make it look like a child's playroom? Don't spend too much money on your first stuff because it's going to take you a little bit of time to figure out your style. Jesse the Good Witch says, about to go grab lunch for my break in sunny San Diego. Oh, I didn't know you lived in San Diego, Jesse the Good Witch. That's a great city. Ray says, working from home. Let's see here. Matt says, waiting for my daughter to get off the bus, then headed to work. That's very sweet. You're a good dad, Matt. Misandris is eating a great pizza and getting ready to watch The Staircase in Algeria. Oh, I hope you like that. I fell off for me, but I thought the first few episodes were excellent. Oh, Callaghan, I hope you have a great birthday tomorrow. Deidre says, me and my bestie Holly Jervis washing our glasses in the sunny Isle of White, UK. I wonder what's Isle of Wight. That sounds interesting. That's nice. You're with your bestie. Jamie Johnson says, I've just been out for a run in the UK and got back just in time for the live stream. Excellent. Emmanuel Morella says, first time being able to chat here. I'm on the bus to campus. Oh, that's great. I hope you had a good time. Alex says, hey, Grace, from Michigan, longtime viewer, first-time commenter. Watching you at work and just wanted to say that I love your videos, contents, and tweets. Thank you for all that you do. Oh, that's so sweet, Alec. I hope you're having a great day at work. Danielle says, playing video games and watching your live. Excellent. Steve says, my first comment, working at home in Toledo, Ohio. Excellent. So cool. Roro, I'm kind of reading some of the X-Men comics. I don't think they're very good right now, but it's hard for me not to read X-Men comics. Oh, Effie's, love to you in Germany. Georgia says, about to take a nap. I listened to the Calm app, and they have a new, the Sleepinator. And it was so adorable. The Sleepinator had such funny gags. I think it was so well written, I had to turn it off because I couldn't fall asleep. I was listening to it. And it was so, so funny. The Sleepinator was like, oh, you ever taken one of those naps where you were supposed to just sleep for a few hours and then you slept for 8 hours and then it ruined your whole week? And I was like, that's hilarious. Like, that's why I don't do 3 a.m. watch-alongs anymore, because that would happen to me, and it was really difficult. Oh, Scott, you got a new bread machine? I'm sure you're going to do an amazing job. You're a great, great cook. Great chef. A chef. You're a chef. Chadwick says, listening, half watching while I work remotely from home in Springfield, Ohio. Ah, I love it. Springfield. Grazer is in Stuyvesant Park, New York City. I love it. You're nearby. Local. JCSG says, Mexico City, taking a break to watch the stream. Love the content. Ah. Edgar says, eating fruit with chamoy like a true Latina. I love it. Millie Jo, getting ready to watch more Harley Quinn in Portland. Yeah, I can't wait. Remember, episode 8's the really amazing episode. Cledgel says, eating mac and cheese in Albania. I might have mac and cheese for dinner tonight. That or fish sticks. I haven't decided yet. Alexandra McCoy says, 4th marriage anniversary. Congratulations. I love your picture. I can see. That's so great. Going to San Diego with the hubby. What's worth seeing, y'all? Watching from Palestine, Texas. You're going to have a great time. San Diego Zoo, obviously, for sure. They have a lot of great restaurants, especially along the water. There's a great little village where you can eat out on the water and get seafood. Just explore, have a good time. It's just a really great area. And also, you're going to be very close to Disneyland. It's like a 2-hour drive, and I would highly recommend going to Disneyland because it's so great. Paul, I'm glad you liked my Ip Man 4 review. I missed those movies. Donnie Yen was so great. I love Donnie Yen. The world needs more Donnie Yen. That's right, Jesse the Good Witch, Old Town. Jaden Lopez says, finishing up an analysis on Les Mis for my AP English class. Oh, what a fun thing to do. Jeremiah, I'm sorry that you're sad about Halloween Ends, but you'll have more opportunities to get to go see it, right? Island Mazooks is having ice cream in Trinidad, the West Indies. I love talking to you guys from all over the world. It's so great. GVJ says, hi from Brussels. Love your channel. Always help me to have a good day. You just made my day better. And then Juan says, I'm watching Gaga tonight in Dallas, our new Harley. Oh, have a great time. She's a great performer. Let's see here. Zombie Boy Man says, been watching you since I was 13, finally being able to comment from London. That's awesome. Thanks for sticking with me. Let's see here. Whitney says, eating tacos while working from home and watching you in Nicaragua. I love it. I hope you're having a great day, Whitney. Tacos are delicious. And Mario is screen printing t-shirts at work. I love it. And Jack Dent says, hi from Temple University in Philly. I started my last year. Oh, congratulations. How exciting. And UC Me says, watching from my pharmacy job in Michigan. And Mikey Brace is doing my washing, ready for Manchester Pride. Oh, you guys are the best. I hate having to sign off. I love you guys all so much. Thank you for joining me on today's live stream. And I'll see you tomorrow for another live stream. Have a great day. And I'm glad everybody could join today. And every other week, remember, we'll do a live stream where everyone can comment, so you guys get a chance to be part of the party. And and when you can become a member, I hope you'll consider it. All right, bye everyone.